I'm willing to bet that as a woman, there's something in your life that you are desperate to shift, that you are desperate to release, to be relieved from, whether it's your career, your relationship, your financial sovereignty. You've probably been accepting less than what you're worth for far too long. And yeah, you've done this self-help. You've taken the courses, you've read the books, you've talked with other people, maybe you've even done talk therapy. And yet the problem still lingers. Well, what if I could tell you why? What if I could tell you that this DIY approach to solutions, that this long-term, maybe someday thinking is absolutely not the way. In fact, it's what's keeping you mired in the challenge that you want to stop right now. So here's the thing. We live in a time and a place and a culture that is designed to keep women exhausted, to keep women overworking, to drain us of the energy that we would actually need to shift. We've also been told that as women, other women are dangerous. We need to compete with them for resources, and that further isolates us. We also live in a culture that prizes doing it yourself, independence. We don't need them, and we certainly don't need help, because help would mean that we're weak. All of these stories that are just in our culture, that we live with every day, that many of us have come to accept as fact, are the things that are keeping us stuck and in the cycle that we're desperate to get out of. Because the thing that I know about how women transform is that, number one, it doesn't happen in isolation. And number two, it doesn't fucking wait. It happens immediately. If you think about how a woman is designed, nothing about us waits. We are not patient. We are right on time every time, and we get things done. We can't wait to have the baby. It happens. We can't put off our monthly cycle. We have to deal with it when it arises right now. There is no delay for the feminine. It is active. It is immediate, and it does not put things off. Procrastination, by the way, ladies, is not a feminine problem. So if you've got something that you're circling, that you've been waiting to shift, like I said, whether it's your business, your relationship, your family relationships, I don't care what it is. I've been coaching women for 10 years. And some of these BS belief systems are the things getting in the way from the transformation, the sovereignty, and the satisfaction that you seek. When I talk to women and they first hear that a solution is possible, but they lived with the other thing for so long, they tend to collapse. They've been told that they're not worth it, that their needs don't matter, that they don't have the kind of resources necessary to make the change, and they have believed that. When we think that there's some day that the transformation will happen, a delayed decision is a decision never made. There is no way to DIY through the biggest challenges of our lives. There is no self-help book that can get you through it. The self-help book doesn't talk back, and it certainly doesn't hold you accountable. This is not a willpower issue because, let's be honest, ladies, we're exhausted. And yet, we still get more than our fair share of things done. This is a structure, support, and timing issue. Because when you say a full-bodied yes to the thing that you want to change and don't act on it, you stay stuck. I see that all the time in my coaching practice. Women come to me with a solution. I say, yes, let's do this. I have a special creative portal that takes one day to generate the kind of change that you thought would take lifetimes. They feel that full body yes arise in them, and then they shrink back into the dysregulation that they've always known, and they let the opportunity pass them by. They say, oh, I need to think about it. Oh, I need more time. You have been living in this devalued and diminished state for far too long. You don't have any more time to waste. When you are ready to make a decision in a day, in a moment, that's the kind of decision that will change your life. Because a concentrated focus on the issue eliminates indecision. I'm going to give you a personal example, how I know this to be true. I was 15 years old, and I had suffered years of abuse from my father, and in fact, such manipulation that I was living with him full time. Things came to a head one morning, and by that point, I'd gone through, I think, a year of high school in such an incapacitated state that I was dressing not like myself, I was barely speaking, and I certainly wasn't telling anybody what was going on. Well, things came to a head one morning, and it got bad enough that I called my mom, who lived an hour away, and I, without explanation, said, "You need to come get me right now." And she did. And in that 1-hour car ride back to her house, I made radical decisions. I decided I would never live with my father again. I decided it was time to start dressing in a way that embodied what I believed was beautiful for me. I decided to move schools, to make friends, to shift my entire attitude, to be social, to speak out loud, to join a club. And those decisions happened in an hour. And I was 15. Now, I've had the opportunity to make decisions like that in both good and challenging ways over my lifetime. And even better, I've had the opportunity to work with women in the same capacity. The ones who have thought, "Oh, I'll change when. Oh, I'll leave when. Oh, I don't have the resources to. Oh, I can't ask for help. I need to do it by myself." And that is all the reasons why they stay and don't change. I've worked with women who, in an afternoon, radically transform their understanding of their relationship and make a plan to leave. I've worked with women who, in one day, have decided that the world is friendly and it's time to get out there. Let's create the business of my dreams. And they leave with the plan, actions, and the support necessary. Because it's about doing it in the moment when we get that full body intuitive rush that yes. The answer is yes. Our feminine energy follows that. It makes it possible. The feminine is not about logic and reason. That's where we get stuck. That's how we collapse. We try to think of all the reasons why we shouldn't or can't, as opposed to why we absolutely must and will. It's the intuitive rise that accesses our feminine energy, that brings that life force to our aid, that creates the pathways that we didn't even know were possible, and the creative energy that gets things done that we cannot access when we're in that diminished state of isolation and collapse. When you feel that full body yes, when you know the solution has been presented to you and you're ready to choose it, do not look back. Don't worry about the logistics. They'll find themselves. Don't worry about the reason. You'll understand it when probably months down the road, if I'm honest. And we can't do it alone. That's another way we've been disempowered. You know, so often I hear in these one-day sessions with these women who are ready for just radical change that they never talked about it. They never thought about it. They never presented it to anyone else. They've done all this DIY, self-help, online courses stuff because they're afraid to reveal what the truth is to someone else. They don't have a safe place to do that. But when you have proper support and you can reveal and talk, that again is very empowering to the feminine. We're here to commune, to connect. We're here to create solutions that feel good to us. We're here to collaborate and make the world a better place for ourselves and all those who come after us. And we cannot do that inside of a vacuum. We create the vacuum of receptivity for everything to come rushing into us. We can't exist inside of it. So when you have the support, when you have your full-bodied yes and you act immediately, that is how transformation occurs. It doesn't take 6 months of talk therapy. It doesn't happen, at some later date. It doesn't have excuses against it because a decision delayed is a decision never made. I promise you. And sister, you do not have any more time to waste. So whether you make that decision right now, like I did the first time when I was 15, whether you make it in the moment that you feel the yes, get support and make it. Because you cannot live this way. If you've been waiting for the right time to change your life, this is it. This is the kind of work that I do with women. I do VIP days that are life-changing. Because when you know that you're ready for the shift, you create the space and the support and the structure to make it, you have nothing but everything that you deserve to create a satisfied life waiting for you on the other side.